How will our heroes find their way through the end of this list? Stay tuned for the next installment of this edition of the Super Black Podcast.
Does Zach have shades?
Zach does have shades. He does.
Zach does have shades. Zach does have shades. Now I'm thinking about So Raven and Zach, they have the number 2
on our list of top 6 traits of a black video game character: sunglasses.
I have to read this list.
Please do. Please enlighten us on this list of games.
Drebin, Shadowman, Zach, Raven, Black Baron, Tiger Jackson, Marcus Reed, Heavy D, not Heavy D, the rapper. There's a Heavy D character in King of Fighters, and K. I don't know who K was. Who was K?
Maybe you were just having a seizure and you typed.
Maybe I was just so mad that I put K on there. K. But yeah, all these characters have shades. Shades on characters isn't on any character isn't like a new thing, right? I mean, there's been plenty of badass characters throughout the media that has sunglasses, but this goes back down to ratio again. There's not as many black characters in games as there are any other ethnicity in games. So when you have 1,000 other characters and 10 black characters, and 9 out of 10 of those black characters have shades, it's like what does that mean?
They gotta be cool, man. They have to.
What does that mean?
They have to be down. Shades make them down.
Yeah, it's something. It's a little. I guess it goes back to what you're saying. Like putting shades, makes you either it's like a badass or a cool character. Why do a lot of these black characters need to be either of those? If you're thinking of whether you're thinking of a cool character, you're starting off with I want a cool character in this game. I want a cool fighter. I want a cool sidekick or something like that. Let's make them black with sunglasses. That's cool. Or whether it's the other way, let's make a black character. That means they're cool. Let's give them shades. Shades are cool. It's just this easy way out that's been used a lot.
Is it like cornrows, in that it's kind of like a go-to thing to identify a character? I don't know if it's as sunglasses wouldn't be considered as racially specific.
No,
as cornrows.
Cornrows is definitely is a certain type of look that black people have. I mean, we can do that.
It's not crazy to say that a black person has cornrows. It's not.
No, yeah, it's not crazy.
But the shades thing is a little weirder because it's tons of, like you said, it's a ratio thing. Tons of characters have shades. It's all over the place. But there's so many. Just if you're in a group of fighters, let's say in Tekken, and one out of the 3 black guys has shades, that ratio is a little weird. Or is it one out of the 2?
33% right there.
Or one out of the 2, not even 3. It's one out of the 2. One of them has shades, one of them doesn't. And, it adds up as you go to other games. You're like, all right, that guy has shades. Tiger Jackson. He's another one in Tekken. Tiger Jackson. He is Eddie Gordo. He is the black version of Eddie Gordo. Is that the right thing to say? Eddie is from.
Gordo's black.
Okay, I think Eddie Gordo is Brazilian.
Oh well. Okay, here we go. Now see, Eddie Gordo is.
Or is he a black guy who just wears?
He is a shade of brown that if you point out, you're like, oh.
I'm not disputing his brownness. I'm saying I'm trying to get down where his
brownness dispute. We got a brownness.
I wish I had a horn. Brownness dispute. I'm not disputing his brownness. I'm not. I swear. Brownness. I'm not ringing the horn for that. I'm simply trying to establish where he's from. Like, I believe he's from Brazil, while Tiger would be like from some sort of like Detroit. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like a guy from 1970s Detroit.
Okay, thank God you said 1970s, because if you say like, oh, he looks like a guy from 2015 Detroit. No, he does not.
No. Well, you don't know. You're not in Detroit right now. You couldn't say that.
That would be in Detroit right now. I think I'm hating on Detroit. I'm not. I'm definitely typecasting.
Yeah. Yes.
Anybody in Detroit right now.
Yeah.
Because Detroit is definitely not the happiest place in America right now, and Tiger Jackson looks very, very happy.
He's a very happy man. He knows capoeira. He has his bell bottoms. He's in a good place. He's got his shades.
That's wearing bell bottoms cannot be sad. I think that's a truism that needs to ring out beyond this podcast and go somewhere, that if you have bell bottoms on, you are not sad.
Yeah, you have to be in a mindset. You have to be in a mindset to wake up and say, I'm going to put some bell bottoms on.
You have to be happy as fuck, or at least.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not even give that to you. I'm not even gonna give not sad. You better be fucking happy you're wearing bell bottoms. You gotta be.
Everyone around you is going to be happy. They see you and be like, oh.
Dude, you're bringing joy to everyone.
Those are bell bottoms. Yes, they are, sir. As you walk by, oh, yes, they are, sir.
You're just wearing bell bottoms, man. You just made my day.
These
At least
are
for
bell
now.
bottoms.
At least for now.
But yeah, sunglasses and bell bottoms, they do type. There is a thing. It's not a thing unless you make it a thing, but it's a thing, kind of thing. You know, it's like, I see it. You know, if you want to have a cool black character in your video game, you know, put some shades on them. If they don't already have like platinum hair, or in the case of Drebin, give them both.
Give them both. Same thing with Zach. You know, the crazy unique hair. Throw them shades on. It's almost like overkill. It's like, let's do all of this crazy shit to this character, and then we're gonna throw the shades on him. It's like, it's not even like the cherry on top. It's like the cake with the cherry on top with an apple pie on top of that.
That sounds delicious. That sounds like a pie cake I can get behind.
I'm going to look for that immediately as soon as we finish recording.
I'm fairly certain you will find it, because you have a unique ability to find weird stuff like that. So,
I'm gonna find it somewhere, and I'm going to shove my face in it.
That sounds.
I'm gonna shove my face in that pie. You heard me.
That sounds awful. So, number 2 being sunglasses, we've reached the top of our list. The number 1 in our top 6 traits of a black video game character is the black scent.
The black scent. We have arrived at the most overused trait in black video game character history. Black scent, which is usually tied to the angry black guy trope, also known as Keith David.
If you are going to have a voice in your video game and he's going to be a black character, you better call Keith David right now.
Keith fucking David. By the way, side note, I saw Keith David in the street, New York City, probably around 2005. I was walking by Best Buy, maybe walking out of Best Buy, getting a game or some shit like that. I walked by and I see this dude has a beautiful woman on his arm, but beyond that, he has a bright purple boa wrapped around his neck.
Yes.
Jesse Ventura style. He has this huge purple pinkish boa walking. Shades.
Yes.
And I'm walking down. I'm like, who the fuck? Oh my God, that's Keith fucking David. And as he saw me realize who he was, and my face like, Keith. He was like, "What's up? How's it going?" And I'm like, "Hey," and that's all I could say. Hey,
hi, Keith.
Hey. That's it. Because it's fucking Keith David. It threw me off. You probably went to go record half of the black characters in video games right there. And maybe it was coming from a recording session. But yeah, fucking Keith David is in a lot of these games. Well, he's in what we mentioned.
Keith David is the voice
of David Anderson.
Yes, from Mass Effect. He was in Saints Row. He played, not only did he play Julius, one of the main antagonists in the series, he also played himself in the video game. So there is, I think it was the most recent Saints Row, or the one from the last generation game. He plays himself. I believe he's like the Secretary of State. He's just Secretary of State Keith David. And there is a part in the game where he runs into Julius. So he ends up talking to himself as two characters. It is one of the greatest things I've ever heard. It is brilliant. If you can look it up on YouTube, I believe there are clips of it.
Great. I'm not a fan of the Saint Rose game for a lot of reasons, but if I have to, that made me like it just a little bit better. If I gave that series like 4 stars, it now has a 5 just because of that.
It was a very special moment because, I mean, Keith David, he does have a sultry voice. It's very commanding. And he single-handedly made me believe that the Arbiter from Halo is a black guy.
His skin was like a dark
blue
brown.
Was it brown or blue?
I don't think.
Or was his armor blue? The armor was blue. Yes,
right.
His skin. He was a brown. Yeah, he was a giant brown alien, and he was voiced by Keith David. The only voice that could ever come out of that guy was Keith David. It's amazing. But this isn't the Keith David. It is the black scent trait, and beyond just having a sultry voice like Keith David, there is a angry black guy personality that does kind of show up in some form or another in a lot of characters, and one such is James Heller. If you go to the site superblack.co, I have a Short Friday Hero spot on James Heller. He is a very, very angry character, like extremely upset at everything. When you think of the aggressive black character, James Heller is the quintessential.
Mm-hmm.
He is always screaming. He is always cursing. He is always upset. He's never. I mean, I understand, like, in the context of the story, he's supposed to be upset about the death of his family.
And the gameplay too, right? You're running around the city, knocking shit over. You know, the power you have. You can't. It'll be hard to be like. It'll be hard to understand a nice character like, oh, this is Mickey Mouse running around. You know, running cars over at full speed, like blowing them. You know, doing all this crazy shit that you do in Prototype. But you can't be nice doing that. You kind of got to be angry and kind of like accentuate the gameplay.
I assume, yes, but there is a level. You know, there's no James Heller ramps up at the beginning of the game and he never stops. You know, there's never a moment, at least I don't remember one, where he tones it down to the point where he can be sympathetic. And I think that's the problem with the Black Scent, is that it doesn't lend itself to being a sympathetic character. You just become this aggro, really angry version of a hero or an anti-hero, as it would for James Heller, and it's hard to relate. It came to the point where I didn't even want to watch cutscenes with him because it was always so combative. There was no like I would have loved to have a moment where he just got raw, like, you know, my family's dead, and maybe not just cussing at somebody. You know, he's like, you know, sitting down to talk to somebody. I can't believe my wife and my daughter are dead. Like, that would at least give you some context as to why he's so aggro all the time. But I never remember getting any of that, you know, and it's off-putting, you know, and it's a weird thing because when you get something like that, you kind of wonder, like, is this why people grow up and think that we're all angry and mean? You know, like just perpetuating that angry black guy stereotype kind of thing.
Right.
And I don't know. He's an extreme case, you know. And then there's Cole.
But sometimes, you know, extreme examples are needed to, you know, highlight a point. So I get it. Yeah. You know? But it's a popular video game series.
Yeah. So
or was. I don't know if they're making it anymore.
I don't think they are, but it was a weird note to end on, you know, if it is like this just super just, I mean, he curses at everybody all the time. Like every other, he's just calling MFs and this and that. It's crazy. But then there's like, we've talked about Cole, who I think has hit everything except the unique haircut on this top 6. Cole has a completely different black scent, but it's still a black scent. I mean, it's a very
It's certainly a black scent. Yeah.
yeah. It's very, like we said, it's very boisterous. He's very loud. Like he's your loud friend. You know,
Right.
He's that loud friend you have. It's like always screaming, doing the Ric Flair woo, trying to get a party started when there's no time to party. He doesn't really take things seriously. Like he's surrounded by all this death and alien, and he's always just kind of not happy-go-lucky, but like, how would you explain Cole's personality? Like,
He's definitely like an adrenaline junkie in a sense that like all this shit that's going on, he kind of feeds off it. And whether that's hiding some sort of deeper depression, that's like, oh my God, all this whole world's going to shit. There's a lot of death around me. I need something to mask this, to keep me up, to keep me going, to keep being kick-ass so I can kick through walls with my with my bare hands. Somehow, you can do that.
That makes complete sense, and I will co-sign on that.
So, but you know, as I was saying, I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna go with this because if anyone can do it, it will be fucking Cole."
Yeah, he'll kick through a wall with his bare hands.
With my bare hands. So it could be that. Maybe that's why he had that psychotic breakdown that you mentioned before.
He totally snapped. It was crazy.
He totally snapped. You can't hide from that much death and decay too much. But
it's
yes,
definitely a black set. It's just
definitely like the fun of the four.
But Cole is that, he's that, which is what I like about his character, is that he is that little uplifting kind of. Yeah, he lights.
The group dynamic needs a character like him.
It's definitely a type of black scent. It's more of the jock black scent, I would say, but it's there. You know, like it's not there.
Yeah.
But there are other games like Final Fantasy VII, which I grew up with, that I found it's not a black scent, but it is the angry black guy personality, Barrett Wallace. He from the start of the game, from the jump, he is screaming. He was actually the first. It was the first game I saw someone type out a curse in characters. You know, like the @ symbol and the pound sign. You know, when they do that, Barrett had a line in one of his rants where they actually typed out, you know, like that weird curse bubble.
Right.
And I was watching. I was like, why is he so angry? And I mean, he's angry from jump till the end. He never stops being angry at Cloud, ever. Like, he is always calling that dude names. He has a specific animation of him shaking his arms above his head in fury, just complete maddening. Like, he cannot believe he's so mad.
Yeah,
which
is funny because out of everyone in that roster, I believe he's the only one that actually has a family. Like, you go back to his place, you know, he's got an adopted daughter and shit like that.
Yeah, and she's the only one that calms him down.
Like doing it to make her life better, which is interesting because it's like, I don't think his daughter was black. I think his daughter was of a different color.
She was white. She was
white. She was of a different ethnicity. Was the mother alive too, or did she like die or something like that?
She died. She died in.
That's what I remember. Okay, I was in my head. I was like, I think she's dead, but I don't want to go into that. That's like a cliche in of itself. Like, oh, I got this daughter, but the mother's dead, and blah blah blah. And I don't know.
But it's not that cliche of a story because the mother dies, and then the father is presumed dead, and then he takes her as a little kid and raises her as his own. So she doesn't grow up knowing her real father. She grows up knowing Barrett.
No, it's Barrett, right?
As her dad.
Right, I forgot about that aspect of the father's presumed. Right.
And then the father comes back later on, and then there's a whole thing. And it was actually it was a weird, I don't know how to put it. I enjoyed that storyline.
The father came back.
Yeah, the father comes back, and it's a conflict between him and Barrett, and it's this real surreal, like, family, just aggro storyline that goes on that is really compelling. Like, I
vaguely remember that, but that's pretty complex.
It's super complex for this game because Barrett turns into from angry black guy to very reserved, very protective of this the secret. Like he tells people, look, I don't. He gets really like I don't want to talk about it. I'm gonna go off and handle this on my own. Do not follow me. And your position in the game is to actually follow him. Like just like I got to figure out what's wrong with him. And it comes to find out that it's this whole family thing, and it's really cool. And that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about that doesn't happen with James Heller, as far as I know. Again, maybe there is a part in the game I don't remember or didn't see that he does get, internal. But Barrett they show a different side to him, and that's where the Black Scent, kind of breaks, where you see why he does it. There is an explanation to why he's so upset and why he's so determined to get things done, and then you see that side of him like remorseful and almost human.
He's the opposite of like Isaac Washington, the guy from House of the Dead who just curses like it's like a stereotype, right? But you said he's almost what? I cut you off a little bit.
He's almost human. Like
he's almost human, right?
He has more. He has that guy that yells at the main character. Also, Barrett, total sidekick. He completely. Barrett runs his own company while he is an eco-terrorist, and terrorists are not cool. But he ends up stepping down from the leadership role and giving it to Cloud. He's like, I can't lead this. I'm going to let you do it, and becomes a complete sidekick. Think about that, guys.
Freedom fighter. He's an eco-freedom fighter.
Yes, not a terrorist. There you go. He was an eco-freedom fighter. And
one side he's a terrorist, the other side.
Exactly. There's two sides to the story. But he steps down from his position of leadership and gives it to Cloud and becomes a complete sidekick. What am I telling people? Barrett could have been the lead of that game and he didn't take it. Just saying.
That's true.
Shouldn't be a sidekick.
He definitely had a lot going on for him. That's definitely more. It runs deeper with when it comes to his daughter. Way more than the stuff that was going on with Cloud, I believe. It's been a long time since I played that game. But I forgot that whole the father coming back thing. I remember the daughter and the mother, but that's some compelling stuff for a side character, especially for its time. And so yeah, still though, he still has that hard ass personality.
He's still angry.
There's stuff beneath it, which is good, which is what we're highlighting when we say like he's a hard ass, yes. But there's stuff beneath it. That's not the case with a lot of these characters, like Isaac Washington from House of the Dead. Not like I'm not sure James Heller has a lot going on. He was always angry. If there's I can see the reason why he should be angry when it comes to gameplay. But other than that, still this angry black guy, hard ass personality dude. And there's also the hard ass characters in the military. It's like there's Sergeant Johnson from the Halo series. Always has like
Wait, Jackson. He's the guy isn't Jackson from Halo? Johnson from Halo. That's Avery Johnson. Right.
Yeah. And he's the one that's always yelling, and he's like, move it, we ain't getting paid by the hour and shit like that.
But he's more reserved, He's more he's the military guy. He's the military tough guy, yeah. But was he ever super angry? You know what? I take that back.
He wasn't angry. He was a hard ass.
He was gruff. Yeah, he was gruff.
He was gruff. But the thing, and that would be fine if it was, like a self-contained one-off incident, but it wasn't. Then there's like Sergeant Foley and the Call of Duty series, and there's a Sergeant Jackson as well. There's fucking Major Jax Briggs from Mortal Kombat.
He's pretty hard. He's pretty tough.
It's pretty tough. Like all these like high-ranking military or like authority figures that kind of fit in the same bill, which is but they're all black, and it's a thing. It's a thing that I noticed. It's like, okay, here's your typical like, I'm a hard ass black person in charge. You gotta listen to me because I'm black, and then when I yell at you, you feel some sort of way about it. So we're gonna use that. We're gonna use that in the game.
Yeah, it becomes a stereotype. Which is kind of I wanted to avoid the word stereotype, but it does. And it's not even actually a black thing. It's a military thing. Like if you watch just movies in general, all those guys are always just bugged out screaming. Like what's that? Full Metal Jacket? Is that what it is? The general or the head guy in there. He's freaking out. He's always screaming at people, cussing, threatening them. Like it seems just to be just like a weird military stereotype, and I have no idea if it's true. I could not say if it was or wasn't.
Yeah, you're right. It's all over the media. This tough black authority figure, military guy.
But I'd love to close out this number one with one of my favorite black scent angry black guy characters. You mentioned his name in passing. Isaac Washington from House of the Dead Overkill. That dude is friggin' bonkers. He is next level cartoony black scent, and it's amazing. The guy is an unflappable, unstoppable cuss machine who hates everything, wants to shoot every zombie, maybe some people, and he has the most amazing rants I have ever heard in a video game. And it's
get out of here, really.
And it's all wasted on House of the Dead, which is not a very good property to play on a whole console.
I wouldn't say it's
bad.
It's not that bad.
It's pretty bad.
You know, it was one of the key arcade shooters.
Okay, but
of its time.
I'm saying Isaac.
It started. I don't want to say it started. It helped pioneer a certain genre.
Maybe,
that was very, very unique to a certain space, the arcade, and which was a beautiful thing. I'm saying was in past tense because there's not too many arcades left, and
But
I like the series House of the Dead. Was it as good as like Time Crisis? Not really, but I'll get into that later. Anyway,
taking all that into context, Isaac Washington is still one of the craziest, angriest black dudes to ever be put in a game, and I think this is a funnier entry because they're so obviously making fun of the fact that there are characters like this,
right?
Because he's so far over the line. He's such a cartoon. Like I believe the whole game was supposed to be like a grindhouse take on zombie video games, which is cool. And he is the extreme angry black guy, and it is so great. If I can find some clips of him just screaming and freaking out at his partner, at the situation. Like he's the narrator at some points, and they just have the camera on him, and he's wildly gesticulating and pacing and cursing and freaking out, and he's just so mad and so black and so heroic.
Now, I've seen this character in like trailers, and I've seen him in game reviews and stuff like that. So I know of him, and he's it's kind of a thing because he's decently popular, I guess, because he's very unique. But not in the sense of games. But I haven't played the game other than going over someone's house and played. So I don't know many of his rants. I just know some of the shit he said, but I don't know some of his long-winded rants if he does have those. And furthermore, I don't remember. He's such a I don't remember the other character. Like he overshadows the other guy.
Oh, by leaps and bounds. I think his name was like G. It was just a guy in glasses.
G?
I think so.
G was like the bad guy in the earlier series. Anyways,
he's just the guy. I mean, there's one particular that I was when I was researching Isaac. They're in a car together in an ice cream truck, and he just says, he's just cursing at his partner, and then he says, "Fine, put on your music," and then the guy pulls the tape out, he puts the music in, and whatever song comes on, he goes, "That's some offensive shit right there. How could you put that on while I'm in here? Just because you got," and he just goes off on him because he didn't like the music that the dude put in the car. And it's so funny to just like, why are you so upset about the music in the car? Like, right. He takes the tape and tosses it out the window. Like he is a cartoon of a cartoon. It is the ultimate, and he's the only one that I feel we can end the Black Scent hard ass personality on, because you can't, like, James Heller is angry, but this dude is cuckoo. Like, he is crazy. Isaac is bonkers. He's cuckoo. And he's what is it? He's crazy and he's funny, which makes him better than James Heller, who has no. He's just angry.
He's just angry. He's one note. He only has one note.
He's exhausting, is what he is. He's just like, oh my God, you're still upset? Jeez. But this other dude, Isaac, is like, what is he gonna say next? Like, it's like watching a TV show. It's great. If you have the ability, go watch YouTube clips of Isaac Washington just being crazy in House of the Dead Overkill. I highly recommend it. It'll offend you, and it'll be great. You'll love it. You'll not want to play that game because it's terrible, but he's cool as a character. So that is the top 6 traits of a black video game character. Now, Jordan, I will ask you, out of all the characters we have discussed in this very lengthy, very involved podcast, who would you say embodies all 6, or at least a majority of our list, which we compiled meticulously through Google Docs?
Oh, it's got to be Cole. It's got to be Coltrane. I mean,
agree. Yes.
More than anyone else, he's on 5 out of the 6 ones, save for unique hair.
And sunglasses. He doesn't wear sunglasses.
Oh, you're right. He doesn't have sunglasses. So he's on 4 out of the 6. Which I can't say the same for maybe. I mean, well, let's see. Barrett might be. So I guess, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. But I agree with Cole.
My personal favorite will probably be Barrett, because that goes way back when to like nostalgia and shit like that. Final Fantasy VII was a big game for me. It was really the first. I don't even want to say JRPG. It was the first RPG, like proper RPG with, like, not like a Zelda or something like that. That I really got into, and it came at a time where with the PlayStation, and I. Played a lot of it by myself. It's such a long game. It was such an adventure. So, yeah, that character is very close to me, as opposed to Cole, where I encountered that character later on. I knew a lot more. So when I saw him, like I said, I was like, oh, this is certainly, I wouldn't be able to spot out the traits in Cole if it were not for Barrett. So maybe Barrett gets the leg up on that.
He gets the bump because he's first.
He gets the bump as a favorite, but as far as like typical traits of a black character, I would have to say, I know you want to avoid the word stereotype, but Cole is definitely more of a stereotype than Barrett.
He is, and Barrett actually does clear quite a bit of these. A lot of the characters are super athletic, and he doesn't exhibit a whole lot of athleticism. You know what? That's not true. He does swing on a giant rope when that Sector 7 is collapsing. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, you can. All you have to do is hold on to the goddamn rope. That's not.
But do you remember that scene? It was very involved. It was very involved.
Okay. I'll give you. Maybe you need some sort of ability. Do you need a athletic ability? Not really. Do you need a superior athletic ability? Absolutely fucking not.
Wait. But he only has one arm. He did that with one arm with 2 people on his back.
Yeah, so he has an athletic ability.
There you go.
That.
Okay.
It's not superior. He's got a gun on his hand, for crying out loud.
He can't hold the rope. He held it with one arm with 2 people on his back, and he swung. Yes, he did. Get over it. You would have died. You would have died. Particularly,
I have 2 arms. I would not have.
You would have fell right off.
They're quite fine.
You'd be like, I got this, guys. Dead.
1, 2. I'm gone.
So he has the superior athletic ability. He is totally sidekick ability, to the point where he, like I said, gives up his leadership role to become a sidekick, which is whatever. Barrett, not so much of a dope name. It's a unique name, I guess. Not for us, I suppose, because we grew up hearing that name Barrett, but it's only really attached to him. I've never heard another person named Barrett.
I thought Barrett was fitting. He's got a gun on his arm, and Barrett is close to Beretta, which is a very popular gun.
Yeah.
brand.
But
So
no
when
one
I
else
heard
is
Barrett for the first time. I knew what Berettas were at that age. So when I saw Barrett, I was like, oh, he's got a gun on his arm. That's kind of like Berettas. Like they took off the A because they didn't want to get sued.
Yeah, they don't want to make it so, oh, you're selling kids a guns person or something. Yeah, well, he still has a gun for an arm. Yeah, whatever.
Right.
But his name is not super dope. But I'll give him a half point. But let's just call that no. He does have a unique haircut. It's very,
Sort of.
it's very Raven-esque without the color.
Well, it's like a flat top, but but not on the sides. Like he shaved off the sides, but it's still like, it's not too unique. It's not compared to all the other shit that we pointed out, all the other haircuts and hairstyles and hairdos. It's not touching. Then it's not touching Zaz's fro. It's not touching
No, it's
Raven's
not.
cut up. It's not touching Zach's weird island.
And in the context of his group, he has the most pedestrian hair.
Yes, by far.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't even put him on dope hair. I wouldn't put him on dope name, even though you give him half a point. He doesn't have sunglasses until the most recent Final Fantasy. If you've seen footage of the new Final Fantasy remake, they gave him fucking sunglasses.
Did they? Oh, I didn't even notice. Oh, man.
Surprise.
It's everywhere.
Let's make this character. Let's give him another one of those black character traits that's so prominent in video games. Let's give him sunglasses because he's that much of a badass. Yeah, and it's cool. Yeah, he's got a gun on his arm. Yeah.
He is a badass. You love it.
And even Advent children, they're like, oh, this is making him even more bad. Let's give him cornrows. Yeah.
Yeah, they totally gave him a hair.
He was black.
They gave him a black haircut, which was a decision, I suppose.
It was a decision.
I would have liked the flat top. It would have been nice to see in HD, but whatever. He doesn't actually have a black scent either because he doesn't speak. But he is super angry all the time, so we can say that he has the angry guy.
He definitely fits in one because the number one is black scent / angry black guy personality type.
Yeah,
so
So
he's definitely number one, and
number 5 and 6.
He's 1 and 5 for me. That's
so
it.
then he doesn't fit.
He's 2 out of the 6. And like I said, he's a favorite because of nostalgia reasons. But when it comes to this list,
no, it's all fully list, man. We're basing it. This is our choice for how to build a black character, a top black video game character.
It's Cole. I'm picking Cole.
It's definitely Cole. It's definitely Cole because while I do love Alex, she has no athletic ability. She is a super sidekick. Her name is great. Her hair is whatever. Her hair is just hair. She doesn't have sunglasses, and she's pretty calm.
She's not angry. She doesn't have a black scent.
Saz is another one. He's kind of a coward. He doesn't really like confrontation, so he doesn't have a angry black guy personality or anything. He doesn't have a black scent. He was, he's just a guy. He didn't have sunglasses. He had a bird, but that's not on the list. His hair was unique. Yes, his name was very dope, as we came to realize, and he's a mediocre character in the game, so he doesn't even have sidekick ability.
Well, I'm starting to realize that Jackson Briggs probably should be on a couple. He obviously has superior athletic ability. He has 2 fucking metal arms, for crying out loud.
Yes.
He does have a bit of a sidekick ability because he was originally a sidekick to Sonya. Sonya was a Mortal Kombat character from the first MK game. I don't think Jax came in until MK2.
Yeah, and that was her partner.
That was her partner, exactly. Like you so aptly put it before. Like, she's the vet. Even though he's like a major later on, he was definitely like her partner. It wasn't like she is his partner. Yeah. Which is good. Which is a good switch up for gender roles. But I would say he's closer to a sidekick than a vet. His name is Jackson Briggs. That's a badass name they call him Jax. Fucking guy, he's jacked up. He's got 2 fucking metal arms. Got a dope name. His hair was not.
He just had a crew cut.
Yeah, he had a crew cut. Didn't have sunglasses, but he was definitely angry. Yes. Someone ripped off his arms.
No. He had a procedure to attach metal arms. I thought
his arms got ripped off, and then he Was that, or maybe that was in the movie or something like that? Like, what happened?
I believe he just got in MK2 he had normal arms. He didn't have metal arms in the second game. I think it didn't show up until the third one, where he just got a procedure done to replace his arms with metal arms. I don't remember if anyone ripped them off.
Really?
Yeah, I
could
think
have
so.
sworn someone ripped them off and
It's a Google.
It's worth a Google.
It's a Google. But
So
he does fit. I don't know if I'd put him in the black center angry guy. He's never been super angry. I mean, if you're putting it in the context of Mortal Kombat, he's actually pretty calm.
You see some of his fatalities.
But you can say that for anybody.
Yeah. So they're all angry. They're
all super angry. So
that which makes him an angry black guy by default. Thank you very much.
I guess by default
he's black.
But if you're in that situation, you're going to be super
you
aggressive.
Put monkeys in pie, you got monkey pie.
I don't know if I think you're just tired. Now you're just saying things. Now you're just Sass Catzeroy me. That's what you're doing. So I think we both agree that Coltrane, Augustus Cole, fits the bill for our top 6. So is there some sort of award we should give this character, like a best black character based on our top 6 traits of a black video game character? I like that title. It's nice and long.
That sounds pretty dope.
Yeah. You're welcome, Augustus Cole. You are you're certainly not the best black character in a video game, but you are one of them, and you fit our criteria.
You're not the best,
but
you are A1. You definitely.
I like that. You are A1.
You are A1. Like
all right.
The songs.
Yeah. Now, quickly,
which is also brown. Thank you very much.
all these connections. I love it. I think we've given people a lot of content, a lot of things to think about, react to. So right now I'm going to call this cast officially done. For Jordan, I am Carl. This has been the Super Black Podcast, and we are out. Full stop.
Word.